Thornwood Drive paving project is complete. ODOT did not advise of any unexpected difficulties or change orders.
That's correct. The project was 5 months late because Shelby, the paving company, was so far behind in the project. But they came in, and because they were so delayed, they did the project very efficiently, and it was down for probably a week less than they thought it would be. I didn't get any complaints or anything from my end. I don't know if anyone heard anything here, but the project was done on time. ODOT never called us once to say, hey, we got a problem, we need to talk about this, there's a change order. That's all really good. So the project went very well. It's over now. If you've been out there for the first time in 7 or 8 years, you can drive Thornwood Drive without having it affect your hemorrhoids.
There you go. Thornwood Drive now hemorrhoid friendly.
Come on, John's picture. John, oh, there you are.
Yes, they are. I'm ready to go tonight.
With that, John, you just
I'm sorry, Jeff. Did you have a
I
question?
can't even remember what it was.
John, how much of that money for that project was spent on repairs? You know, like on the berm or beside the berm there where it's paved, and some of those areas were pretty rough.
I don't have a breakdown on the exact dollar amount that was spent because the road needed a great deal of repair before they surfaced it. But they came in and they did a heck of a lot of repair. I drove over it right after they completed doing all the repairs on all the edges that were deformed and cracked and broke, and I couldn't find any that they didn't get. So
They milled down, way down in some areas.
yeah, they did. They took
Yeah.
Hey,
What are
John,
the foot?
before we go on, I just wanted to let Doug know, I mentioned to Bob a couple of weeks ago that one storm drains on Whisper Pines, it really looked like it got ready to drop. And the next day, the street committee and the street crew was over there, and they had a contractor last week to replace that one, and they did a super job. They took it all out, and they put new, big, look like fiberglass pipe, goes across under the street, but it's fixed the way it should be. They did a super good looking job.
One of the problems you've got with subdivisions, the older ones like Whispering Pines, is over time, a lot of the underground structures, they just sink, and you have to go in and repair them. It doesn't mean they were installed badly, it just means that time kind of erodes that stuff. And you can expect to see that, but I'm glad they did a good job, please, because I know it's been like that for a while.
And I told him, I said, I know what happened, and this is one of the things that the police station of Granville said, that the garbage trucks did that, because they parked right on it to get the garbage from those two.
Possible, yeah.
And it was the point when I told Bob to come over and look at it, that the grid of that big steel thing was falling down, and it would have fallen with a car, they said, if I hadn't told.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. I just want to let Doug know that they did a super job.
Let Bob know that. It's ridiculous.
Well, they actually widened the road on Thornwood a bit. It's like they put another foot on either side. It wasn't paved to the same degree, but it was like a support.
What they did is the road has the same width. However, it is wider. That doesn't make sense. Normally, after you pave a road, you put gravel down in the berm on both sides. Instead of using gravel, they used asphalt. So that gives the road the appearance that it's wider. And if you go look at other paving projects, for instance, 37 from Granville to 70, they're paving that. They did the same thing. Apparently, ODOT's made a change, and instead of putting down gravel for berm along the edge of the road, they're now just laying asphalt. And if you notice too, it's not really rolled.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough. And it's the same thing on 37 too, and a couple other roads.
Is that where there's grass kind of growing up?
Yeah,
There's grass up there. I thought they didn't cut it out or anything, but they generally just throw gravel on top of it.
That's,
I think too that helps with the snow plowing.
It does, because you don't push away the berm. So we'll see how it works, but you're absolutely right.
So that's what the new state spec,
Yes,
they require that type of finish.
Yeah.
they put that in, so, and it gives the road the appearance of being white. Any other questions on that? Something that I've mentioned, item number 2 at previous meetings, and I keep mentioning this because industrial development, at this time we have 4 sites under development or soon to be under development. And since I've been here, we've never had industrial development of this intensity. And it's really, really nice. And these aren't small little 10 or 15,000 foot buildings. These are minimum size 50,000 or larger square foot buildings. So this is truly unique to Heath. I don't think we've seen this development in our history over such a rapid time frame. Usually industrial development, you're lucky to get 1 building every 7 or 8 years. The fact that we get 4 within a 1 year period is remarkable. And I know I've done it, but again, I need to bring this up, and I can't stop reiterating this, that the majority of the cause of this is right here at this table, and it's the mayor. And I sit on meetings with him, and I think we're really blessed with somebody here who has done more than anyone else in the city over many years to bring in industrial development. So, we've all seen it, and that's the truth.
I got the 20 in my office.
We were out visiting the building, and they were saying, you make it so easy for them to do those jobs, and that it's just like the process is so smooth when they're working with you, and they gave you a lot of credit for that. So I think that it's a partnership. So
I appreciate it, but I'm just a little used to it. Thank you for saying that.
I gotta throw in that there's some pretty lengthy history that goes back, that the fighting to get that grant, to get that road widened all the way out, and seeing that come about was a significant challenge, going back to Mayor Dux and some of the people at this table as well. And that, they're all steps in that process that all add up to the success. And I mean, I forget how many millions of dollars that was, 20 plus, 20, maybe 30.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but
The widening to 79 between Cleveland and Heath was, since I've been here, probably the biggest project the city's ever seen, and the most important in regard to its development. You play a major part in that, because you have a lot of contact with the federal government, people that were big players in getting money to us.
Where's the water line?
And the water lines and sewer lines.
there's plenty of accolades to go around, and some of them just go back a long way.
He said, young man, don't ever give up on the industrial part. He said, that's better than it was for the air force station.
Without the proactive planning of infrastructure, we got it for
That's right. And we've done it over the years, so we're very fortunate in this area. And there's more area out there to be developed. So,
Since I've been on council since '86, this present council is the easiest one I think I've ever been on. When I first got on, I was ready to quit after 6 months. Just fighting.
Not naming names, but
Everybody here is good, and I appreciate you guys.
I heard that.
that was
Got into
before
it, yeah.
'86, though, wasn't it?
Nope.
Oh, was it?
Two over there here.
oh, boy.
And Lloyd Corbin said, if you two don't quit, I'm going to whip you with a switch. One of them told him, so I'll take you on too. Oh,
Well, anyway, it's good to be there. Item number 3, solid waste. Okay, don't get confused when I say solid waste. The county has a solid waste district, and it's basically, we're members of it as well as every other community in the county. And they manage a lot of landfill things and things like this. The EPA requires that we have a solid waste district within the county, and we are members of it. And well, as I said, the district oversees the removal and disposal of a lot of solid waste. And every 5 years, the EPA requires them to review their requirements to see if any need to be updated, and they have recently done that, and they're submitting these requirements to us and requesting that we pass a resolution supporting the new requirements. And then if that's the case, what they'll do is every other committee will do this, every community will do this, and then they'll submit it back to the EPA. The changes in the requirements are minimal. There are no change in fees. There's just a little wording here or there that they've changed to make things appear better, but that's about it. So I have a legislative request today asking you to approve the changes to the solid waste district plan that they're submitting to the EPA. I have a list of the changes if anyone wants to see them. As I said, there's really nothing there at all. There's no change in fees, nothing. So just a little wording here, a little wording there.
That needs to be in the form of a resolution.
Yes, and the resolution, a draft of the resolution I attached to the legislative request.
Is there any timetable on that, John, or just go through the normal?
It can go through the normal. It doesn't have to be passed first
Thank you,
reading.
sir.
I think we have like 90 days to do it. So, any questions on that? Item number 4, kind of a sad story here. The zoning engineering budget not only covers all of the engineering expenses from the zoning department, but we also help other departments if they have engineering needs. We pay for them out of this budget. The street department may have to they have a stormwater section design. The water department, when if they have water lines they want to put in, if it's not a really big cost, $10,000 or something like that, we pay for that. Recently, when we installed the water line at the Port Authority, sanitary sewer line at the Port Authority for the Southgate building, we use this budget to cover the design costs. This year, we've had a lot of costs. We've had a lot of plan reviews for those 4 industrial sites. And that budget is very low and it won't make it through the end of the year. So I'm asking if you could appropriate another $15,000 to be put into that budget just to cover our expenses through the rest of the year.
Another gentleman.
Yes, from the general fund. And you notice for me, this is a relatively short list tonight. Might get to you guys. We're getting close to the end of the year, so I'll give you a break. Item number 5, another EPA thing.
Please wipe that back.
I changed it to 6 October. I put 5 October.
Today's the 6th.
Yeah.
You want me to change it?
Yeah. The EPA regulates our water plant, it regulates our wastewater plant, and it regulates our stormwater discharges from the city. Every 5 years, the EPA requires us to basically renew our permit with them as far as stormwater discharge goes, and this is the 5th year. And it costs us $200. It's not a big deal. But I just wanted to, there's no legislative request required or anything like that. It's an administrative process. But we are in the process of revising our stormwater discharge permit with EPA. There's nothing we have to do other than to send them the money, and they're usually pretty happy with that. So, just wanted to bring that up, that we're current with that too. the city can legally discharge stormwater from its parking lots and its agricultural fields and its houses now into the rivers.
Another money grab.
Yeah, we would have to stop that if we didn't have to do that. So. I'm not sure what they would do if we didn't.
Can they build that dome over the city so that
That's right.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Dig a hole, it goes down to China, so all the water goes down.
Is the fee based on the size of the city?
It's a standard fee.
Standard?
Now, we do have an annual discharge fee that we have to pay them. That's based on the size. Oh, yeah. The size of the city. Well, EPA is well funded for local resources. So, I just
So like when you have a year where there's not rain like this, we're actually getting a good deal.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Always look at the bright side.
That's right. I'm a glass half full guy.
Yeah.
Pardon the water pun.
So anyway, just wanted to give you an update on that. Also, item number 6, you may not notice it yet, but we've done a lot of improvements in this building over the past several months. There were a lot of plumbing problems, believe it or not, that go all the way back to when the building was designed in regard to how water drained out of it and stuff like this. We had a lot of that taken care of. The parking lot lights, if you've noticed over the years, they go on, they go off. They're never too bright. Well, we can thank the government for making the decision that the type of bulbs that we were using are no longer available. So that forced us to go in and we had to change all of the sockets, all of the ballasts and everything else and all of those lights to be able to purchase new lights to put in them when the old ones burn out. But in the process of doing that, it's kind of an orange glow instead of a white glow. Now you might notice it when you leave, but the parking lot is very well lit. It probably hasn't been this lit ever. So that occurred too. We finished the driveway entrance to the police department. That's done. Now these may seem like small things, but with a limited budget that we have for this building, they're really things that we have wanted to do for a long time.
I noticed that ramp on the side, north end of the ramp, water standing there.
We've always had water standing there, and what we did is we graded that. It's so flat, the water doesn't drain very good. But we tried to grade it a little better, so there's not as much water, but we didn't get rid of all the water. And we're just stuck with it. There's not much we can do about it. We don't like it because that can freeze and thaw and cause problems later on, but we did improve the drainage center. It won't really be visible until we get a huge rain. And we used to have water just filling the ditch along the road. So we graded that too, so more of that water should drain. But some will always be there, but it's so flat that there's not too much we can do beyond what we've done. So next year in the capital improvement budget, we're trying to do more for this building. And one of the things, if it gets onto the budget, is the last couple of years we approved the air conditioning and heating in the police and the administrative side. And what we'd like to do is go in here and finalize that project by doing this side of the building as well, putting better control systems in. We do need new air conditioning units out there. Those are really, really old. So with a little luck, we'll be able to put those into the budget for next year. It just depends on what the income projections are. So,
How would you, stacking of priorities, how would you prioritize that compared to carpet replacement over here and over there?
well, being that I'm in front of council, and I'm just asking them to give me $15,000 for engineering.
I see.
It's way up there.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, another thing I'm asking for is carpet. Because you notice on this side the carpet is good, on the other side the carpet is terrible. And how we go about putting the carpeting in, there are different ways to do it. But another thing I'm asking for over there, in all honesty, I think we need the carpeting over there. The air conditioning here will function for another couple of years, not perfectly. But the carpeting over there is to the point where it's dangerous, because we've got tears and ripples that we can't get out and everything else. And not even considering cosmetics, just the functionality of the carpet's really bad. So I would actually put the carpet ahead of this. So don't take it. I still love it. That's really all I've got.
What about FEMA?
Oh, okay. Actually, We don't have legislation for that. That's a surprise gift to you guys. You can scratch that one off. FEMA updated the floodplain maps, and they told us we don't need. When I put that on there, I thought we would need legislation to accept their modifications, but we didn't need to do it, so I forgot to take it off.
What do we do?
Nothing, it's automatic.
Oh.
They just send us the plans and we put them into a GIS.
I see.
That's it.
Would they add to the map or take away from the map?
In our case, they didn't do anything to it.
It stayed the same?
It stayed the same. However, in Newark, in some areas, they made changes, and those changes are never for the best.
Right.
But in our area, we stayed the same.
Some of it helps, I'm sure.
Thank you. That's all I have. I've still got 40 minutes, though.
I got a question for you, John. What's the policy in Heath on like discharging pool water, like out of an above ground pool, and you want to get rid of the water in the pool? Is it supposed to go just out on the ground? Or is it supposed to go to, so it gets treated, or can it go to storm sewer?
Okay, first of all, it cannot go into a sanitary sewer. However, private pool water, the EPA allows to drain directly under the ground. Now, that being said, you can drain it directly under the ground unless it crosses over your neighbor's property. Then you have a violation. So if someone is draining a pool, what they need to do is drain it to a drainage swale on their property if they have one. If they don't, they really need to pump it to a street drainage system. And if they don't have either one of those available, for instance, where you live, if there are no swales and there's no street drainage, all they can do is discharge it very slowly onto their property until it soaks in. Or they can get a truck and then pump it out.
Do they have to wait a little bit in order for the chlorine to dissipate out of it before you put it on the ground?
Not for private pools.
Okay.
Now for public pools, if you hold the chlorine for a while, it actually dissipates out of it. But those are large masses of water. But for private pools, the EPA does, even with chlorine additives, allow us to drain it under.
And it can't go straight to the storm and out to the river.
Yeah, it can. Yes, yeah, it can. If you can get it to the storm, it can. Yes.
What pools up on the Barron Drive? It's about 4 feet high and 30 feet across. We had that storm recently. It broke. It tore down one vinyl fence. It went into 3 basements.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, how do you prevent something like that? I don't
But
know.
the person that has it, she made sure, that her insurance covered everybody's property.
Yeah. There was pools. Yeah. Pools, nowadays, you can buy a pool for $300 at Walmart. It's a nice sized pool that's 4 feet high. These take a lot of water, and people don't understand that if you discharge the water, you have to control it. They also don't understand that those pools fall under a pool permit. You have to have fences around it. This year, we must have sent out half a dozen, at least a dozen.
You gotta have a fence around the pool,
Yeah.
even those kind, the non-permanent ones.
And we have our biggest fights in my office over those. It's only comfort. But yeah, does that answer?
Yeah.
Anything else, folks?
Anybody got anything to join? With Mayor or Cam?
I feel like I'm neglecting you, like I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not captivating you at all.
No, I think they're okay, John.
Is Eddie Hunt training you on how to run?
I paid a lot of attention to how well received he is. So, yeah.
That's no more questions. We're done at 5:55.
Going finance now or later, guys? Go. Go.
I got one, thank you. Walking for a little.
There you go.
I'll put one in the chair.
Oh, is he leaving?
Heath, are you coming back in?
He wanted to make sure he spelled hemorrhoid right.
Go ahead and do it myself.
You know it'll be. That'd be the lead headline, front page.
Everyone friendly suited.
All right, we'll get finance committee started at 5:55. I was got a copy, wants a copy. First item, $5,740 within the police budget for radio upgrades. Did this come out of your agenda, Brian?
Yep.
This has to do with Mark's
Sign
upgrades,
that
right?
date at the top there.
Yes, it does.
If I could speak to that, or the mayor may wish to as well. Chief Mason stopped in my office and expressed desire to upgrade these radios. Apparently he found some kind of a deal on these radios, that there's an upgrade that's necessary that costs about $600. And in rough round figures, there you go.
$600 per radio unit.
Yes,
Which is $22,000.
right. So he said that they've got some kind of a special deal that if we do it before the end of the year, I think, it was like $153 per unit. So he's scrambling around looking at his budget, and he's hoping to use budgeted money. Now, he's asked me to warn you that in the cleanup ordinance, this may short him a little bit in some line items, and he hopes you'll be kind to him about that. But I think that's the gist of it all.
Yep. And we've had some bad luck this year in regards to equipment on the police side that needed to be replaced, technical equipment and radio equipment. So that hasn't been kind to his line item either.
So anyway.
Any other comments, Brian?
Sure, it covered it.
Side.
Committees, okay. Next one, support for the solid waste district. Came out of John's agenda this evening. Cletus, anything else to add? No? Third item, money transfer $15,000 within the engineering budget. Any other comments? Fourth item has been removed. Other items, Keith?
This, just a reminder, I think this was on the last Finance Committee agenda. We're going to do the impound lot auction on October 25, 10 a.m. It's going to be down at Jay's Towing, and this will be a first time for that event there. So there will be some logistical challenges that will be different, I'm sure, and we'll work through it. I believe that we have 32 vehicles right now, and may have one more for sale. No, I think we've done 35 before.
The transition been as well as expected, or better than expected? Gallup Park to here?
I guess I can't answer to that. The beneficiary of that is the police department and the guys that no longer have to run over into open lots. And when somebody bails their vehicle out, they run over and get them out. And all that stuff now is turnkey. That staff at Jay's deals with that. So they could speak to that improvement far more than I. The storage for the lot is I think $250 a month or $3,000 a year. That was an expense we didn't have before. So there's there's a trade-off in the advantage of not having to go deal with putting impounds in and setting them free as well. So I anticipate that the auction should go fine. We will have an on-site additional bidder. Jays has indicated that he's going to bid on every car. Well, there's nothing bad that can come from that.
Yeah.
As far as I can see, at the very least, he's going to be a new and interested party. So who knows how that will sort out. But we'll make it work.
Good question behind you.
Keith, do you have a list somewhere, or is it posted anywhere, or what's there?
I have not put together a list yet. I just mailed postcards that are reminders about the auction.
I've got it on my calendar. I want to come down.
Yeah, I will eventually put together a list. One of the logistical problems that is going to be different with this auction site is these vehicles are not just in the city of Heath impound fence. Jay built a fence specific for us. That fenced in area will maybe only at best hold 15 cars.
Yeah, that's a good ballpark number.
So if we've got 32 cars to be sold, these other cars are sitting about other places. And at the old impound lot, I could at this juncture just simply have instructed somebody to come move these cars out, the ones that are going to be sold, kind of get them segregated, and then I could eyeball, okay, and start item number 1 is going to be that blue Ford that's sitting there in the corner. And then I can go in some methodical way and create this list that Becky's talking about. Because that list I want to be the order of sale. Well, Jay hasn't got those cars all in order. So I can prepare a list, but I'm not sure they'll be in the order of the way the sale will be. Mm-hmm. And he's talking like he's got some grassy area between his fence and State Route 79. He's thinking he's going to pull those cars out right there in that grassy area between his fenced-in area and the road. For security reasons, I don't think that's such a great idea for him to do that weeks before the auction. So, because passersby could.
What would be the point of him doing that? Just to publicize that we're having the auction?
I think he thinks that's going to be the best location to have the sale itself. I'm not sure that's ideal, but he's apparently thought that through and.
Does anybody else recall it being mentioned that the sale of each car during the auction could actually be done indoors? Car could be brought in, could be sold, could be taken out. Another car brought in, sold, taken out. Does anybody else recall that?
Yeah,
I know it's been, how long's it been now?
A little portable building that he put together or something.
I don't know. For some reason, in the back of my mind, I recall thinking, oh, well, that would help then if it rains.
He has talked about his intention as he moves these cars out to be placed in some kind of order for the sale. He's intending to power wash them, which is a new thing. At least he last mentioned that. But when John Mason and I went over there a week or so ago, he had said he thought that would be the ideal place to do that, and his thinking was that a few days before the auction that he would pull those cars out there and then I can get an order of sale. And I think probably what I'll have to do differently is when I prepare a list, it will be a list of vehicles, but not necessarily in order of sale.
Yeah.
So,
Sure, parking okay
should be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of acres.
Yeah. You don't know if people coming to buy cars or whatever? Yeah, there should be plenty of room.
I think.
I just didn't notice.
I understand the exposure part of it, but the security.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not somebody, a prospect buying. What if somebody's car has been impacted? No one trying to lift it out of the dark of the night. That's when it's
Well,
out there.
all of these cars are now. I was
Titled to us.
Yes.
So that would be
It's our
theft.
property now, and it would be a theft from us. The vehicles that belong to somebody that has an active impound that hasn't been released to us, those are the vehicles that are locked up. But I believe that's been the protocol that as they expanded beyond the 15 spaces that we have in lockup, that it's only those vehicles that really belong to us that get removed from that. This has not been ideal, and I'm not sure that it's going to be, but there's certainly been some pluses regarding manpower in the PD.
I know in North, because Kathy in our office does the auctions and the cars and stuff, and she like takes the title and goes out of the car and makes sure the VIN number matches, the title and all that kind of stuff, and then she has like a number, like, number 1, number 2, number 3, just numbers them. I'm not sure if that's how they get sold or not, but she kind of just numbers them. She has them in order so that the title matches the number of the car to match, so that when you buy this, that they make sure this goes with that, and that's the one that they sold, not, and stuff.
I do that.
And you do the same.
I do. I create typically what's known as what I call a hang sheet, and the hang sheet will show the order of the vehicle in the sale, which is vehicle number 6.
Okay.
It'll show the last 4 digits of the VIN.
Okay.
It'll show whether the vehicle has keys or not.
Okay. Whether.
And it will indicate whether the title is a salvage title or a regular title.
Okay.
So that information, I'll usually glue stick, find a way to
So the
stick
car,
it.
so people looking at them, they know that, okay, this is a salvage vehicle, or it's a, they can, okay.
And whether a vehicle has keys or not can be kind of a big deal. Some of these computer chip keys are a couple, $200-300. So if the car is going to be returned to service and not be stripped out for scrap or parts, whether it has keys or not is important.
Well, the reason I was asking that, because I was wondering, if you went down there like ahead of time with Jay, and then he would know what order maybe to pull the cars out into, if you knew which one. You know what I'm saying? If you got together with him and saying,
Yeah, I want this one here, line them up this way.
yeah, and you just take a marker and mark the windshield, with a piece of soap, or the marker, the number, and go out and number them, and then that way he would know, and his guys would know. Because some are probably, maybe they can move, most of them they might have to just be towed or dragged or whatever, stuff,
No question. There's some that are wrecked. I toyed with that idea. I tried to do that before in the past at our own impound lot.
Doesn't work.
Jay isn't going to do them himself, so he's going to tell one of his junkyard guys to go do that.
Yeah.
And they are not going to get all 32 cars in order the way I want them. I'm
just thinking in somewhat of an order. 1 or 2 could be out of whack, but at least it'd be maybe it goes 1, 2, 6, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? But at least it's somewhat of a sequence.
Ones I've been to, they seem to be well organized. feeling or not, but
Thank you.
you did a good job.
Between now and then, it will be the Chief Mason's going to need to get his staff to go get over there and go through those cars with a fine tooth comb, and that's not a pleasant task. What we do is we take anything of value out of the cars, and then we sell that stuff separately, because the cars don't bring more money if they've got a box of tools in them. But if you sell the box of tools separately, you get that money too. So,
Sergeant Black told me one time up here that a few years ago, he was watching for some individual, I had no idea who it was, but they had in their mind that stuff with that car was his. He told him he was gonna come and get it. He said, "I'll be waiting on it." I don't know if the guy ever come or not, but
I don't know. And I haven't seen the bicycles. I need to make an appointment with Jay and go down, and I understand they're storing bikes down there somewhere. I don't have a clue. I haven't seen.
that's a good deal with Jay and deal. I know a lot of times some of the better cars, but not enough.
Are there any future plans for the dealer impound lot as far as converting into something else?
Just
Just
discussed.
for park storage?
Dog's cars.
Parks department
Yeah.
storage?
I don't think Bob's ever said anything about it.
There's been some talk, and just it's only talk that I'm aware of, about taking fence down and maybe moving it to Jay's and expanding. We talked about that at some juncture.
Oh yeah.
That we may have some fence down there that's not being used. You know, if all you had to buy was new poles and set the new poles, you could string that. I don't know how tall that fence is, 10 feet, 8, 10 feet, whatever it is. But this will be a new challenge. We'll get through it.
Anything else?
Nope. The 2 items that are on the agenda table remain so.
Is there a committee looking at item number 1? I can't recall.
No, I think we were just all supposed to be individually coming in
Okay.
what we thought.
Okay.
Do you need any time for meeting? It's not.
No.
Okay, nothing else. We'll adjourn at 6:13.
Want to do caucus? It takes less than 5 minutes.
Mine with me. Can I-
Invocation. Please.
See ya. I was looking to see if you had. I was looking for an advocate tweet about Thornwood Drive's.
Maybe later.
Have a good evening.
Go down to number 7, the delinquent utility account. Since Mr. Morrow is not here, who wants to do that?
He might be here. He's probably watching Austin play. The 7th grade team's playing over at the high school right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's
I
probably
got
where
the
he's at.
minutes.
If he
I don't.
comes in, I'll let him.
I've got the minutes to read. I don't think he was planning on counting on being here. So
Oh, is that right?
I've got
I'll
those
put
to
you
read
down
as
on it.
vice chairs. So
Okay.
Okay. I'll put you down, Jeff, then for doing number 7. Introduction of ordinances. I can just go to a second reading, can I?
Did he say anything, Mark, about needing to have that waived? I don't have anything
Who's
in
he?
my notes. I'm Bob.
Install the ice, snow rail system,
77,
full filter motor.
2015.
No, I don't recall.
No, I looked at my notes from last time, and I didn't have
We just
anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ordinance second reading, 74. The parade.
Check on the ordinance just to see if it says something about declaring an emergency or something, but I don't
I
recall.
don't recall anything either.
Who wants to do both of those? 74, 75.
Is this part of my committee? I can do one.
Alright. Okay. Any questions on any of those? Resolution on the first reading. That's
Tim, just so that you know, that is a resolution that I took over to Dave and had him check into it, that it was okay. And what it is just asking us to go on record in support of the library levy, which is not a new tax, it's just a renewal of the other tax, and it's just something I think we need to do as a body. And so it doesn't need to be just,
Just go the normal process.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll hold it for the second reading. All right. Looks like about it.
I'll let you tomorrow.
Roll call if he's not here. Okay. All right. Sounds good. We got
Chief
it.
Huggins told me today they're gonna have 250 yard signs, hopefully by the end of this week. Also, they worked on a pretty good looking flyer. One page, one side of one page flyer. I made a few grammatical corrections and suggested a content change, but they did a pretty good job with it. And I don't know if they're going to print that in black and white or color. It would look better in color, but of course it would be more expensive in color. I think that my impression is that volunteers anyway. I don't think the staff per ordinance. I don't think the full-time staff can participate in campaigning, but I think the volunteers can, and I think their intention is to do so. So
They can't off the clock
On their own time?
on their own time.
so
I heard they,
Why not?
Why not?
The way I read it,
the way I read it, you can't.
I heard that they
Can't?
could.
No, read yourself.
That's-
That's this item number 2.
That's this item number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't. If you're a full timer living in the city of Heath, I don't even think you can put a yard sign in your yard for the levy.
Is the firefighters union contributing to this act?
I think they did.
It's
Good.
significant.
Significant amount of money, I hope.
Either that or the volunteers or something
It's
like that.
enforcement, it says, or it's.
I don't know what the dollar amount is. You'd have to ask Mark.
Well, as long as they make it generous donation.
I can understand not participating in partisan things, but issues, that's probably one thing we need to work on changing.
I don't think anyone should ever be discouraged in any form of doing any political.
Participate.
Yeah, participate.
The only thing that I remember that they talked about on that was, with Butch Taylor that told us one time that you have to write it that way to prevent the fire chief from ordering their guys while they're on duty to get out of the campaign.
I think also too, you got to be real careful about the idea of enabling employees to knock on doors and campaign for or against any elected city official. And I see pitfalls on either side. Now that doesn't prevent. I don't think there's. As a matter of fact, for some reason, as I remember that ordinance, I was definitely left with the impression that there's nothing that stops employees from having private conversations about this, that, or the other. But I don't think you can. I don't think you could pass out flyers, or I don't think you could. Like I said, I don't even think you can stick a yard sign in your yard the way it reads.
I think you can if you're married, because you can't control what your spouse, if other people live in that household, you can't tell them because you're a city employee that they can't have a yard sign.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that'd probably end up.
Or if there's another voter.
Yeah,
You're not
exactly,
married to.
right,
You
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Anybody else in the household that's a voter,
Right.
so they have a right. It's their yard too.
It's a shame, because then when I talked to Chief, I told him, I said, you're gonna get most of your votes when your firemen are standing in front of that citizen asking for support. I mean, we can ask all day long, but when that fireman shows up asking for their support.
I don't think they
Big
can.
difference, yeah, and that sucks. It's
Can we get a clarification on that? Just to be.
I can ask David. Now, also remember the annual open house. I think it's this weekend for over at Station 1. But like I said, these flyers I think look pretty good. I think you know when they get printed up, I think y'all need to be prepared to take a handful of them and you know, put them in some doors, stick them in some hands, that kind of thing.
When we have it.
Let's ask Mark tonight. I proofed it today, the flyer.
And when
Signs got ordered.
does Heath play at home Friday night?
No, they're at Utica. They're at home the
when's the
next
next-
night.
The next Friday?
Yes.
And
The next 2 Fridays.
We ought to see about, that's a good place to be handing
Yeah.
out.
The thing here, the prohibited, it says, employees shall refrain from seeking or accepting nomination or election to any governmental office. Employees shall refrain from using their influence publicly in any way for or against any candidate or elective office in the municipal government. And employees shall not circulate petitions or publicly campaign in behalf of any elected official. Doesn't say anything about
Not say
issues.
anything about issues.
So you
does
can
it?
do issues all you want.
Do issues all.
Okay.
Everything.
That's good.
And they
Okay.
talked about doing, because they used to do Wednesday night training,
Yeah.
utilizing Wednesday nights for them to campaign for now, and, you know, kind of set
Okay.
some of the training to the side.
So it's just an individual person, but an issue or whatever like that, you can,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Good.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty clear that it's specified to office or
Right.
yeah.
We can go.
And it also says nothing should, from attending political meeting or expressing their views in private on political matters outside of working hours or off city premises or from voting for freedom of election. So
Campaign.
off-duty hours, they can say or do anything, I mean, even if they wanted to say it about a candidate or something, but
Private.
as far as the issues, they're allowed.
Privately, right?
Privately, yeah.
And they would have to do it off hours because they couldn't campaign on hours because that would definitely be illegal for anybody.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as them wanting to,
I think
support
that
issue,
I think they
whatever.
can then. Yeah, according to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
This is another conversation too that Chief and I were talking. Can they do that on their own time in their city uniform? Can we find out? Law director meeting tonight, we could ask him.
I don't see where they, who's to say?
Yeah, but David said we could. Okay, because I had an idea of let's have town hall type meeting things in neighborhoods, and let's roll the rescue truck and let people get underneath it if they want to and see these corroded supports and stuff. David said we couldn't do that. But that would be people on city time.
Right.
And it would be using city equipment or
Uh-huh.
something, so I can kind of see how that could be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be great
I
if
don't
you could
see
do
where
it, but
they
I,
couldn't wear their uniform.
Right.
I don't see why. This section is, I think, fraught with problems that I'm not sure would meet constitutional muster.
I don't
You know,
either.
but,
I don't either.
and at the same time, there are restrictions on city employees I think are improper. One being that if they live out in the middle of Muskingum County and want to be a township trustee or participate, or like Tim said earlier, if everything was reversed, he would be precluded
Right.
from being on city council in Newark. If everything was reversed and he was on Newark City Council and lived in Newark and worked in Heath, current Heath law would prevent him from participating in the manner that he is. And in my opinion, that's crazy. That's inappropriate.
They're trying the same way. He wouldn't be here, I think.
Well, that was guys. Remember, that's what was brought up. I think early this year, and is item number 2 on the table. So if you guys want to make some changes to it, get a hold of David and draft some changes.
I've left that on here
Yeah.
for a reason.
You should.
The reason I wanted to wait till all the contracts is because I didn't want any of the unions saying that you're changing the by changing that it might become an issue. I don't know, You know what I'm saying? At the time, you change that, and that may change the other contracts and stuff. So it's kind of like, get the contracts, that's why I keep asking for the contracts, because they're done, then we
Well, and
can.
the same thing with asking for, an increase in
Right.
wages.
That's what I'm saying. I want to wait till the contracts are all signed and official, and then
I think the lease contract is
Close.
close.
When
If
I
anybody
worked
wants
at
to
the
discuss
county,
it with you, but it's close.
and I was able to be on council here because it was nonpartisan. Had I lived in Newark, I could have not been on Newark City Council because it's partisan. If there was a township trustee that was partisan, I could not have participated. So we're not the only ones that have restrictions. Partisan politics is a big no-no at a lot of levels. I know the state employees can't do anything partisan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I think you're getting into some sticky situations at times. I think that's there for a reason. So I think the nonpartisan stuff is different.
So, in regards though to the firefighters, that's right, they can go out and campaign in their own time.
On their own time
Off the
for the
clock,
levies.
basically.
Yes, I agree with you. Firefighters with this flyer in their hand, knocking on doors, talking to people, absolutely.
So
I think
we're
that could be powerful.
It's like we campaign, having somebody go out and campaign for us now, well, they want to see you, and you knock on that door, it's like, oh, since you asked.
Yeah.
What's that? You're gonna get my vote. I heard that over and over,
Yeah.
since you took the time to come ask.
Yep.
And I don't see what's even.
No, we can ask,
Who's to tell me
How
I
you
can't
can-
or something that says that I'm,
we can ask.
part of the
You can always get T-shirts.
Let's ask.
city of Heath.
We'll ask David.
Yeah. I
You're
wear a
not,
shirt with
but
that.
you're an elected official. That's what
Yes,
it is.
that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too, yeah.
Yeah, we want to protect them. We don't want to get them in any trouble
No.
by encouraging them to do something that could bite them. So.
The only thing I think is that the uniforms are city property, but I don't think they are. They get reimbursed for the uniforms, so they really aren't city property.
There's a uniform reimbursement.
Right, so that really means that
Uniform.
they own them, so, okay.
But I think it'll, like you said, it'll be powerful if they're doing it. It'll also be powerful another way if they're not. If they're able to and they're not.
Right.
I think that's going to speak volumes to the citizens. That
Every time I see
Well,
somebody.
You know what? Maybe even too, they have a T-shirt
Right.
that says on the back like Heath Fire.
Yeah.
And it's not their blue. It's not their
see
blue,
them everywhere.
but it's just like a gray T-shirt or whatever. It says Heath
You're
Fire.
gonna find them as a firefighter.
Yeah.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Let's ask David.
Man, you were getting worse. You used to back up your thing or anything else? I'll practice.